Hello, my name's Andrea Thompson, and if you're just joining us now, I'm the founder and director of the Film Girl Film Festival, occurring from now through November 20th. And I have the pleasure and the privilege to be joined by two of the directors from my U.S. Audiences Only Shorts Block 2. So thank you, ladies, so much for joining us, for joining me, excuse me.
Thank you.
Joining both of us. Can you both kind of briefly introduce yourselves and give us a brief synopsis of your film? Sylvie, why don't we start with you?
Well, my name is Sylvie Gauthier. I'm 54 years old, and no need to tell the kids is my first short. It's the story of a girl in the 80s in France, in the countryside. And she's 12, and she's very happy to be invited by friends, but there is a secret in the family, and the film try to make us understand what she feel about the secret when she's revealed to her. It's a question of a baby which is not well. She discovered that the girl's family tries to cover up that the oldest girl of the family, which is 18 years old and unmarried daughter, has given birth to a baby.
And Zoe?
Yes, I directed the movie that is called Ellie is Gone, and it's the story of a girl that returns to her hometown, and the movies follows her for a day, and she returns to her ex-boyfriend and her little sister, and she just spends the day with the two of them, and he takes them on a boat trip. And it's a movie that tells about the end of the first love and the disillusion that comes along this ending.
Both of your films kind of describe their female characters at a kind of crossroads in their life, like. So I'm really curious as to why you chose the events in your film for as this particular kind of this kind of life-changing event. Sylvie, why did you decide to make this family secret the event which sparks this girl's coming of age in your film, in a sense, like she discovers kind of a whole new side to her life, in a way, in the life of people she thought she knew.
Well, the story of my film is a little personal, because when I wrote it, it was my first film. So I asked myself what story I could write. And the first thing I thought about was a memory, personal memory, when I was a little girl of 12 years old. And the story of my film is my story. I was this little girl, and the sentence that the daughter says to my character is not you are not allowed to see the baby, was very hard for me. And I remember this sentence all my life. So I decided to make a film about it, and to show how one sentence can change your life, or how one sentence can change your relationship with people. So it's a turning point in your life. Sometimes one sentence can be a turning point. So I used it to make a film. and maybe to put this sentence outside of my life in a film, and not in my life again.
Oh wow. And yeah, Zoe, that kind of relates to your film too, because your character in your film, she is at a crossroads too. Ellie, she like one sentence, like when she finds out, when her, I don't want to completely spoil it, but her love interest tells her this major change in his life he's taking. So why did you decide to tell this story, and why did you decide, I was curious, why did you decide to include her younger sister too?
Well, I wanted to include Ellie, I think, is at just like you say, crossing roads, because she's in between the end of some ideal vision of love that comes along with first love, a more mature view of a love that is less simple and more complex, and the fact that a little girl is here it allows to include another dimension, and to how like Ellie can somehow say goodbye to her as a little girl, and it's yes, I don't know how to say, but it really to me it's very important, because it's, the character Ellie is really like, the film is a confrontation of her, what she wanted to be with her, what she wanted to have happened with her ex-boyfriend, but that has not. And this little girl is
Catalyst.
Yes, catalyst. The point, the ideal version of what she wanted to see, and also she tries to show a good example of what perfect love is to her younger sister. But she finds out that the little girl is actually way more mature than she is about it, and more lucid. Well, she sees better the situations than Ellie does.
Yeah, she's trying to teach her, but she's actually teaching her what not to do in terms
Yes.
of love.
Yeah. And she also tries to protect her, and to protect her, as if the little girl had the ideal vision of love, like some little girl vision of love, and Ellie wants to protect her from breaking her dreams, but not like she her vision of the little girl that love is nice and love is perfect, and Ellie just wants to protect her little sister from the reality that it's not that good.
Sometimes, yeah.
Yeah. Well.
Thank you. And Sylvie, I was unaware that this film felt very personal, but I was unaware that it was that personal. Your film, No Need to Tell the Kids. Why do you think the family kind of hid this secret in plain sight, like, in a way? Why do you think the family didn't send their daughter away?
Oh, the oldest daughter, the mother of the baby.
Well, in a sense, both, because sadly, the tradition in America for some time was to send the girl away, even though everyone knew why these girls were going away, and to not so well in a very real way, basically force them to give up their children in adoption. So why do you think? I'm
Well,
not saying that's the right thing to do,
I
but
don't,
why
I'm
do
not
you
sure.
think
I'm not
they?
sure I can answer this question because it was like that. Maybe because they were maybe because the mother
Mhm,
thought that she had to take care of a girl, even if she had committed a fault. She made a fault. I don't know. It's English word for that, but I think the mother loves a girl,
mhm,
and so she prepare she prepare food for her. So we
mhm,
see that she loves her.
mhm,
In France, the word. I tried to find the translation. In English, you said unmarried mother, but
mhm.
in French, the word was. I think it's not the same now, but was daughter mother. It
Oh,
means she's a daughter and the mother. I knew when I was a child that it was not a normal thing, but I was playing with the children,
mhm,
but I didn't know the existence of the oldest daughter.
mhm,
I discovered her the day I come to have lunch in the in the in this house.
So you basically discovered her right away.
Yeah, and
Mhm,
so she was living there, but I don't know what she became after this story. I hope
mhm,
maybe she married. I think
mhm,
they try to find her a husband, but I'm not sure of that. I don't know really.
mhm,
I
mhm.
was most surprised by the way she talked to me,
Mhm,
because I was coming from the city, and so for her she was not. It's maybe difficult to understand, but even if we don't live in the same country, I think you have the same in United States. I was born near Paris, in the suburbs. But
mhm,
for people who live in the countryside, I was a girl from the city.
mhm,
And she was jealous with me. I think the children and most of the girls were
mhm,
jealous because I was represented the city and maybe liberty,
mhm,
freedom they didn't have at that time in countryside.
mhm,
So when she's seeing me, it was I think it was too hard for her
mhm.
to see me and to see that and to show me that she was in a prison.
Yeah, it seemed that way.
I think she was ashamed of being in a prison because she had a child. Uh,
Mhm,
and I showed the film to young people, and they were very surprised of this situation
mhm.
because they can't understand that the mother hid the eldest daughter. They
That
can't.
a baby would be such a source of shame, basically,
Yeah,
probably.
yeah.
It's so sad to see.
But everyone I think that everybody in the village
Mhm.
knew that.
Yeah, everyone's gonna know.
Yeah,
Um,
it's strange to hide it because everyone knows this
mhm.
situation.
And that seemed to apply to your short too, Zoe. Everyone, you kept it very intimate between this trio, mainly the Ellie, her ex, and her sister. Everyone seemed to know that their love story was over, but
Yeah.
they did not. So why did you decide to tell a story more of love ending rather than beginning, this story of heartbreak?
You mean why did I wanted to tell the story of an ending? That's
Yeah,
it. Yeah.
of love ending. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I think I just wanted to organize a narration
Mm-hmm.
about this and to understand more. Like when you make a movie, I think
Mm-hmm.
it understands things, and I wanted to understand more what what is happening, what are the stakes about
Mm-hmm.
ending a first love and ending a first relationship, and that's why I made it a movie out of it. And I think plus we don't really see movies about well, it's there are movies about ending, but I don't know, ending of a first love with you know, like redo sex with your ex. It's I wanted to show this on with a I think a pretty realistic view, and to story as realistic as possible and very close to the lame reality,
Mm-hmm.
but so but to turn it into a movie, because I thought it was important, and the feelings that comes along the ending of a love story are strong, and they need to be, and I think
Mm-hmm.
representing sadness is important. It
Mm-hmm.
helps a lot, I think, and
Def-
it's also about growing up and living. I think you grow up more at the end of a relationship rather than in the beginning. I think.
And it's if only because you're forced to.
It's only because what?
If only because you're forced to, in some
Yeah,
cases.
yeah.
hmm And Sylvie, like, I have a question about your film. Like, who do you think what the people who basically hid this girl and her child away were actually protecting? Because it was pretty sure that everyone knew, and the children, seemed to accept it. So who do you think this family was actually protecting, or what?
Their reputation, I
Mm-hmm.
guess. Well, God is very important for them.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if when I search for the place I will shoot the film, I found this house incredibly, and I was at first I was trying to I wanted to shoot a scene in a room, but this room didn't existed in the house. So, but I understood that there was a place in the room, a little place where there was where people could pray. You know, with a little chair, the little chair that is in the film is the chair that existed in the house. There was a virgin in this house, and people came to this room to be alone and to pray. So I realized that this story was linked with faith and with maybe the fear of God to be punished because the girl makes something wrong. I think it's the first reason. And maybe the other reason is reputation, but it's the same, because reputation is linked with the church, with people who go to church. Well,
how did you find that house exactly?
Well, I don't remember. Maybe I tried to find. I wanted a house which was not which has not been modified. So I went in the countryside, visiting some houses, and I found this house, which belonged to farmers, and so it was not modified, like in the 80s. It was full of a lot of things. We need one day to make it like it's in the film, but really it wasn't the same. And the person who rented the house, when I told her the story of the film, she stayed 1 minute mute because I think that this story remember her a lot of stories she knew. And she said to me, well, it was really like that. Yeah.
Yeah, it sounds like a lucky find. And yeah, someone who grew up in the rural United States in a more conservative, like more evangelical environment, it a lot of the beliefs and the shame and the stigma felt very familiar to me. So
well, it's not so true now in France.
And it's less true now here. I feel like some of the stuff is still there, but there's such an emphasis on the child that they don't exactly hide that so much anymore. And Zoe, our talking to Sylvia about location really wants me to delve into how you chose yours, because it is such a gorgeous, sumptuous location. But because of your couple, it's just the dynamics between them. It's such a contrast to the sadness and the pain between them. So why that location?
Well, it's a place I grew up in, and well, not specifically on the harbor, but yes, to me it was at the very, very beginning of the writing. I knew it was gonna be there because it's I don't know, it's a place I grew up in, and this is also a part of the desire of the movie at very first. And what was very I knew the place very well. I also knew about the banc de sable, the
little piece of
sand in the middle of the sea, this little island of sand.
Oh, wow.
And I knew about it because I had spent time on it, and I wanted to film this place. And what the fact that the sea, that is very, I think there is sea all over the movie. Well, at the beginning, at the end, in the middle, it's sea is all around, and I think it's because about sea, when there is always many possibility about sea. You know, it's very wide. You can see very far. And it's like anything can happen. And so I think it worked well with the story I wanted to tell, and all the fact of the island of sand in the middle of the sea. The fact is recovered by the sea at the end of the fight was also to tell about how how can I say, fact that love story is very about and it can happen one day, it did not happen the other day. Was also some a way of erasing the trace. I don't know how to say, like the print, the footprint. They're whipped out. Yeah, out by the sea. So yeah, and there were also a mood of almost not Western because it's at the sea, but very wide landscapes. I like that. I also think it was pretty important to give the movie some a way of almost weird. Like I think at the middle of the film, I wanted to make it more and more not anxious, but worrying. The character in the middle starts to worries about the fact that he might find out, the little girl might find out, blah blah blah. And I think that this anxiety is reflecting on how dangerous, almost dangerous, the landscape starts to not to feel, but
shift,
yeah,
change, or
yeah.
Mhm.
The landscape is at least at first pretty peaceful, like blue sky, big sun, the beach. It's all fine, and little by little, it become more and more threatening.
Did
So,
did you kind of experience a similar heartbreak when you lived there?
yeah, some. Well, at first, the writing of the movie came with a personal experiences, but just like a lot of movies. But yeah, and after I mixed different experiences and yeah.
Oh, yeah, sounds like in both films, like it was very uniquely, well, very differently, like you guys. I'm addressing this question to both of you. Is this something kind of you felt was like therapeutic? Like, Sylvie, did you think that it was therapeutic making this film about an incident that you described as so life-changing?
Yes, it was, of course. It was when I wrote it, because, of course, I tried to remember the facts and to analyze what I felt at that moment. I was 12, so it was when I wrote it more than 40 years ago. But I was connected with the little girl because I remember this day. And to do it with children was also a very great experience. To see in the camera this young girl living what I felt when I was young was very, very strange, but I think it was therapeutic. And therapeutic because I saw a young actress and not me, And to come back to one of your questions about the fact that we try to make a story about something that is changing, a change in a life. I think for me, it is the end of virginity, but not of real virginity. It's the end of children virginity, when you don't know what older people try to hide, and you discover that a lot of things are hidden.
Innocence, more maybe.
Yeah, innocence. I said virginity because the first scene of the film, there are bed linen outside, and for me it's the white color of this is the for me it's a form innocence or virginity. It's when you will lose this. Yeah, and maybe for some people it was the case. For me, it happened today, on one day, and I think it's not. It's maybe for some people, for some girls, it's more difficult because it happens other things. But for me, it was only one word of another girl. So of course, it was therapeutic for me. And I love to work. It was my first film, so it was very, very therapeutic. And when I discovered that I love to do films, it was a great therapy.
And Zoe, I take it was making your film, excuse me, was very therapeutic for you too?
I don't know, but as I said, I think I wrote it. Well, first there was a very long period between the moment I wrote it and the moment we shoot, and so there were just layers adding time after time, and so I don't know. It was so much mix between my story, the story of my sister that plays the character, and the character itself. So I don't know. I just wanted to understand more, but I don't know. I think I will never recover.
Wow.
Not specifically, but in life.
Wow. That makes me wonder how you both and you I think I want to address this first to you Zoe, like how did you select your cast for a project like this that was so personal?
Well, at first I wanted to shoot with my sister that played the character of the main character. And then I decided to make a real casting. So I meet a different actress, and after that I was okay. I want to shoot with my sister, so we shoot together. And the guy is a friend of mine, and I don't know, he was. I think he matched with my sister because it felt good. I think he was good. And the little girl is a friend of is a little sister of a friend of mine that's making film, and I saw her in one of his movies, and I met her, and we were okay, ready to ride.
Wow.
So it's very simple. The cast, there is only this moment where I wanted to do things properly and not to choose my sister only because it was my sister. So I met other people, but I just needed to do that to be sure I wanted to shoot with her, but I was sure.
I see. And Sylvie? How did you choose your cast?
Well, it was so simple. I made a casting especially for the children, and I tried to find. I found all of them in the city near the house I shoot in. So it was a very it was very pleasant to do that, because I saw maybe 20 children, around 12 or 13, and it was very pleasant moment, because we have a great talk with each of them. I try to understand if they were able to. They were not professional, of course. So the question was not if they knew how to be in the film, but if they. I tested if they were able to you say evaluate. Évoluer, je sais pas comment on dit, Zoé.
Je dirais evaluate.
Evaluate.
To evolve.
To evolve.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
We make a test. I make a test with them. I was playing with them, trying to know to know if they were able to involve during 4 or 5 minutes of acting. There were no shame of acting between well, I think when you choose your the characters, it's because they are the characters.
Or they can be, really, with on a dime, as it were. And that also brings me a bit to my next question, and I hate that I still feel the need to ask female directors this about female characters, but a lot of the characters in your films, they commit what is the ultimate sin for on-screen female characters. They react to their situations in a way that can be deemed as unlikable. So I guess I want to throw this question out to you first, Zoe. Did you have any problems or difficulties with that, at exploring a character who reacted in a way that other people might deem, well, unlikable? There's no other way I can come up with. Is there any difficulties with that?
Yeah. Well, it was very interesting because as I was doing the film, after the shooting, when I start to, during the editing, show it here and there, the feedback were much more critical about Ellie as a character, like, wow, she's unlikable, she's horrible, she's so egocentric, so mean to Zach. Oh, poor Zach. All this feedback was most part from girls. And yeah, and the girl, well, not all, but very big part of the girl who saw the movie at first, before it was finished, told me about how dislikable she was, and I had feedback like, we can't really. She's so dislikable, but men and boys on the other side were much more emphatic with her, like, understand her more, and I just to me it was because some girls, to some girls, it's they don't like to see women on screen that think for themselves and not for what to, like Ellie, for instance. She may have all the defaults in the world, but she acts only for herself, and she's not polite, and she doesn't really tries to I don't know, to fulfill the what people could expect her to do, and she's a failure in everything. And I think boys are more okay to see that, and girls sometimes it's a little more complicated.
Yeah, I was expecting that. I guess it's still so taboo for women to act that way, and
Yeah.
they don't like seeing it so raw on
Some
screen.
does,
Yeah.
fortunately, but some they feel it's like they feel endangered. You know, it they feel not criticized, but it reflects too much on them, I think.
Yeah, probably. And Sylvie, with in your film, it wasn't exactly your main characters that could be deemed unlikable, but a lot of the people around her, like the mother, even, well, both mothers really sometimes, but the um, mother especially, who essentially hid her daughter away. How did you still depict these people with compassion, and was it really difficult for yourself or for others?
No, I love all my characters.
Mm-hmm.
I can try to understand each of them, so it's not a problem. But when I show the film, most of the people went to me to tell me that it was it remember their childhood.
Mm-hmm.
I think they what they like in the film was this feeling of the childhood,
Mm-hmm.
how we are when we are 12 or 13 or 15, each other and with the older people, with adults. One thing which was funny is that a lot of people try to resolve the mystery.
Mm-hmm.
Some told me, well, the father is the father. um, it was very funny because people were coming to me at the end of the show to say, well, I found the solution. I know who is the father of the baby.
Uh, that was the
And
solution.
when some people tell me, is that right? Is it right? And I said, I don't know, maybe. It's not my problem. It's very pleasant when people begin to imagine the what follows the film.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing that was said about female or not was about the boys in the film.
Mm-hmm.
Some people told me, but why are boys so stupid in the film? Because they don't see anything. They don't want to see. The father doesn't want to see, and the boys don't want to see the problem.
Mm-hmm.
And I told that I wrote it because I was angry with my brother. So I put it in the script. I'm not like Zoe. When I wrote very. I was very conscious of the fact that the mother was my mother. The
Mm-hmm.
brother, my real brother. I tried to, how to say that, régler ses comptes. Try to put in the film things I couldn't told them.
Ah.
And when I showed the film to my mother, she told me, well, the mother is not very cool with her sister. And I say, yes. Mommy, it's you. You know that? It's me. I was very young. I was beautiful. And that's she told me nothing more than that.
Huh. Well, I think I kind of wanna, I've been asking my other my other directors this, after delving so long into like not dark per se, but darker topics. I want to ask you both. Zoe, I want to start with you. What do you love most about filmmaking?
Well, my favorite step of filmmaking is just before shooting, because shooting is a lot of stress, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is a lot of loneliness, but getting ready to shoot is really the best time, because there is a lot to dream about your movie, and yet it's about to be very not concrete, but you are confronted with real life, and you confront your script to real life, like where are you going to shoot, who are you going to work with, um, how are you going to film this play, this scene, and you work with the actors, and you have time to work with them, and you can repeat the scene, you can work. Well, what I love about this moment is that there are still a lot of hope. You're not in the stress of the shooting, and you have a little bit of time, much more like you have much more time than when you're shooting, where I think when you're shooting, for 99% of the time, you're just solving problems. And it's a lot of frustration. And to me, I rather like it before or after when I edit.
Mm-hmm.
I love the editing part, but in the post-production process, my favorite part is mixing, because it's so close to the end, and uh, it's it's after a very long time of editing where you had to make difficult decision, like I'm gonna not shoot, I won't edit this part, I will blah blah blah. You have to make choices about narration, and when you come back to the mixing step, it's you return to the movie as a I don't know, a sensitive object, like sounds and images, and it's on a level much more sensitive, and I love that. It's much more living, I think. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And Sylvie?
Well, it's difficult to answer because I loved each step of of the job. Being afraid of ending each step. I loved the shooting, and I was very sad when it finished. But when I began the editing, well, I told to me, how can I be with only one person after living with so much people, and it was like a family. But it was very interesting also. So every step of this job is fantastic for me. And I remember the first day I worked with the older daughter. I tried to make some rehearsal with her. After this, I went in the street, and I felt that I was walking 1 meter above the street. I was so happy that I told myself, but why I didn't do that earlier? I can't say that because I'm more than 50. So if I can leave a message today, is to begin to make films earlier if you can. Not because I'm too old to do it. I hope I try to make a feature film now, so I hope I'm not too old to do it. But because if you like that, it's good to know that you have a long time to in front of you to do films. So if you can begin earlier, it's better. But maybe because I was around 50 when I did it, maybe it was more pleasant for me to do it, because I knew that it was very important for me to live this moment. And
well, speaking of messages, is there like, neither of you obviously, you didn't make your film with a message or in mind. It was made very personally, from a very personal place, even if you don't know the stories behind them, with a lot of compassion. But ideally, is there something you'd like? Is there an ideal thing, I suppose, that you'd like the audience to take from it? Zoe, why don't we start with you for that?
Me?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I think the message part is, I don't know, it's just
Not a message. It could be a feeling or something, or just anything you'd like them to take away, I suppose.
To take away. Some of the some feeling of grief about childhood, and about childhood, but also all the not fantasy, but what you think life is going to be and what it's actually. You know, it's this step between these two ideas, and yes, a feeling of relief and self-acceptance, I think. Something like that, about love being imperfect. But the fact that I don't know, representing a female character that is so imperfect and so full of dysfunctional, dysfunctional habits. I think it's a way to tell the audience that they're not alone, like everybody acts this way, but let yourself go, let yourself be. Something like that.
Thank you. And Sylvie, any kind of feeling or message you'd like the audience to take away from your film?
Well, in fact, I don't know if there was a message, but maybe...
yeah, there didn't seem to be one made with one in mind.
Yes.
Just want to reassure you about that. There didn't seem to be an agenda, really.
Well, it was maybe something like, first of all, take care of children, but also against a kind of silence that maybe we always say to children, shut up, don't tell that, don't say that, don't do that. I think it's not a good way to help them to be adults. But I would wanted us also to for me to feel again the how is it to be a child, to see the world with the eyes of a child. I think it's very difficult when you're becoming adult to come back to childhood. And I try to really to go inside me, inside people, to reconnect with this sensation. And in fact, maybe I succeed because some people told me that they felt they reconnect with their own childhood with the film, with the feeling, not the childhood like a fact, but with the feeling you have inside when you are a child. I think you understand everything when you are a child. but you can't explain it. You understand, but you can't explain, and you need adults to explain to you.
Yeah, that's probably true. Pretty good point. And it seems a good way to ask my last question, that I traditionally ask in these kind of things. What is up next for you? And this time, Sylvie, why don't we take yours? Take your what's up next for you first?
I'm working on 2 feature films, and one of them is near from the or the beginning or the end. I don't know, because we are in the last steps of financing it, and it's not very easy. So I hope I will do it maybe next year, but I'm not sure. Sure.
Fingers crossed for you. And Zoe, what's up next for you?
Well, I'm an editor on the side, so I keep on editing movies, and I'm also writing a new short film, and that is about more computer, but with a female main character, but it's more computer this time, and data managing and memory, etc.
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, fingers crossed for you as well. And I want to thank you both, not just for showing up and working with me despite the distance, the time difference, and for allowing me to show your film in the festival. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye. For the festival.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.